Here is lesson 9. We're going to go through the math chat.
Today you'll start by solving a couple of problems about snacks.
Okay, so it says read the problem and imagine what's happening. 64 snacks sold in the entire week. 6 of those were veggie sticks. Okay, so then how many total snacks was 64? And if we wanted to check if it were less than 50%, do 64, split it in half, 32. And since we only sold 16, we know it's less than 50%. Percent goes down here, like you see 0%, you're going to put the percent across from it. Your total amount sold is the whole amount on the top, so 64. We know it was 16, but we don't know what percentage 16 is, so that's why we use K.
You can see.
So this equation right here, percent times whole equals part, will get you through so many of these lessons. So percent, we don't know. We do know that the whole was 64, and we know that part of it was 16. And then here, since we did K times 64, if we have an unknown, we do the opposite. So instead of multiplying by 64, we want to divide by 64. So watch and make sure you put the 16 first, 64 last, because then that's 16 divided by 64, which is what you want. And then you go here and you do 16 divided by 64.25. And then it's going to have us make it into a percent. So all we do is the same thing we did before. Oops, I clicked the wrong bubble. So bad at this clicking stuff. So if it's 0.25, we know that to make a percent, like if we had 25%, to make that a decimal, we move it 2 places to the left. Well, if they give you a decimal like 0.25 and want a percent, you just do the opposite and move it 2 places to the right. So it would be 25%.
You need.
Okay, so 8 were fruit cups, 64 altogether. And we already have this kind of lined out here for us. So we do not know the percent. We do know that the whole is this, and part of it is 8. So same thing as before, we're going to do 8 divided by 64. 8 needs to go in first. Then you take Desmos and you do 8 divided by 64, 0.125.
When you
And then to make that a decimal, we move it, or to make it a percent, we move it to the right. So 2 places to the right gives us 12.5%. All right. %, remember of in words means multiply in math, so 1% of 45, and you can do this with Desmos. So we got to change it to a decimal first, 0.01, 2 places to the left, remember. And you can go down here and do 0.01 times 45, which is 0.45. I'm not going to do that just for time purposes, but you can. So, didn't we just do this one? Okay, so this would be 0.45. 0.45. Okay, now over here you have 0.1% times 45. I know that's going to be 0.001. So then I have 45.045. Like I said, you can do that part with Desmos. I'm just trying to save you a little time here. Okay, And then here, like I said, you can go through and you can do 3% of 142, 0.3% of 142, and then 0.03% of 142, and get all of those answers. I just noticed that with each zero, we move one place to the left with the decimal. So instead of 42.6, I'm going to do 4.26. Instead of 4.26, I'm going to do 0.426. Then I need to do a 0 to fill in that extra decimal spot here.
Keep it going in the Tower of Power.
If it will load. We're going to do tower. Okay, so now we have to do all these number line things. So 90 items this week is our total, 36 is our part, and then we don't know the percentage. So 36 is part, 90 is total, don't know that out of 100%. So then we go right back to that equation. Percent times whole equals part. Don't know the percent, we do know the whole and we know the part. So then instead of multiplying to solve for that unknown, we're going to do the opposite and divide. So we're going to take 36 divided by 90. 36 divided by 90 is 0.4. Make that a percent, so 2 places to the right. So I highly suggest you guys, as you're going through this, actually write just this part down so that you don't lose track of that, because sometimes you mix up those zeros. Okay, first tower done. I always forget to click the brain. Okay, so 24 part is 3. Don't know the percentage. So part of them are whole. Don't know this part, but we know it's out of 100%. So don't know the percent. The whole is 24 equals 3. So we're going to take 3 and divide it by 24. Three divided by 24, 0.125. Guess what? We gotta make that a percent. So 2 places. 12.5. 2 places to the right. Sorry. My head, I finished that sentence. Click the brain. So 60% of 35. And then it wants 6% of 35. So you can once again do this with this. It's 2.1. Then we're going to do 0.21. And then here, remember that of in words means multiply mass, so 60% of 124 equals something, 0.6. So then we do 0.6 times 124, 74.4. And I know that 0.6 is the same as 60%, so 74.4. But if you didn't, you can solve that with Desmos. You can do every one of these in Desmos if you want. But if we're doing 6% versus 60%, 7.44. So I just move the decimal over 1, 0.744, 0.0744. Done. And there is lesson 9.